Welcome to the Know Before You Go Travel Show, where we share all the latest travel tips, tricks, and insights to make your next vacation the best one yet. So sit back, relax, grab a cocktail, and enjoy the show with Penyak Travel's George Penyak and our senior travel consultant, Janet Penyak.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We are back for another show of the Know Before You Go Travel Show, and it might not be morning. I mean, it's morning for us.
Morning
right
for us. Enjoying our coffee.
Enjoying our coffee. Good morning. Getting caffeinated here. Going to talk a little travel. You know, give your earbuds and your mind a mental audio vacation if we could. So, anyways, but no, we're excited to be back for another show. We got a really cool show planned. Like, they're all cool. I know I say that every time, right?
Yes, you do.
You're starting to get on me about that.
No, it's okay. They can all be cool.
They're all cool. I mean, I tee it up. I'm not overhyping it. I'm just saying it's going to be a great show.
Our cat just walked in the studio, and he looks like he has a wild eye. So.
Got the travel agent cat. All right, so yeah, well, he won't bother us too much as long as he doesn't chew on stuff.
Yeah, he's a chewer.
Our cat is like a puppy.
Yeah.
Chews. Anyways, shout out Tiger Woods. Before we kick the show off, because we do have a cool show, we're going to talk a little bit about one of literally our favorite islands, if not our favorite resort of all time. Shout out to my man Tiger Woods, closing the Masters, 2019 Masters champion. If he's listening anyway, I love you. We love you. Thank you so much for winning that tournament.
That was awesome to watch. And when he hugged his kids, it just gave me goosebumps all over, and I just thought that was great.
Oh, it's such a special moment.
Yeah.
And my birthday's coming up. My birthday's in like 4 days.
Yeah, 4 days.
Jeez. So, anyways,
yeah, that was a good win for your birthday.
That was a really good win for my birthday. So, anyways, and we have a birthday trip, and we're about to leave for
tomorrow.
We're leaving for the Dominican Republic tomorrow.
Yes.
Crazy life, but that's what good travel agents do. That's what good travel agencies do.
Travel.
When you own a travel agency, you go see these places.
Yep.
So we know what we're talking about.
Yep.
You know, there's so many travel agents out there that actually don't travel that much.
Yeah.
And that's concerning. Like, we'll see, like, you've talked to people that say, well, I've talked to another travel agent, and they told me X, and you're like, or they told me Y, Z, or whatever. They're telling you stuff, and you're like,
yeah, I'm like, no, that's horrible. Please
whoa.
don't go there.
yeah, they'll recommend places that we're like, whoa.
Yeah, and you know, there's certain resort styles for certain people, absolutely, but you know.
Yeah, no, I know, but you gotta. I mean, I don't know.
You gotta know what you're selling.
You gotta know what you're talking about. You know what you're recommending. But anyways, so great show today. So today, talking about
Grenada, the island of spice.
Spice Island.
Yes,
and we went there. We've been there. We went there on a cruise recently. We also stayed there for a week, which felt like a month.
Yeah, so I first went to Grenada in 2014 on an agent trip. I went there right after the new Sandals Resort opened there. And I knew as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, this place is amazing. I have to come back here and bring George. So we went. It was February 2017, so it's been 2 years ago now. And then we also did a cruise last year that stopped at Grenada. And it's just so different. Like, you don't hear about people going to Grenada. I mean, before then, I had never even heard of it. So
yeah, it's one of the southernmost Caribbean islands. It is way down there. I mean, you're pretty much off the coast of...
I think they say it's like 60 miles off the coast of Venezuela, something like that.
Yeah, it's near Bonaire and all that. And,
Trinidad.
Very small island. We're talking 100,000 people today.
Yes.
But man, was it beautiful.
Yes.
So it's kind of mountainous, not as mountainous as St. Lucia.
Right.
But the resort there...
I'd compare the mountains to kind of like Jamaica.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah. Like you still have mountains, but it's not... It's like...
You still have the grand mountains of like the Pitons in St. Lucia. Yeah. Right.
Exactly. So... And we stayed at the Sandals property there. We stayed at Sandals Grenada. It was called La Source when we stayed there.
Right, yep. And it's currently it's the only or it was the only all-inclusive on the island. I think there's one other that has opened since or turned all-inclusive, and then I know Royalton Resorts is opening up a resort there as well.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, so a lot of people have probably seen this picture before of everyone's seen that picture online where it's a balcony and it's an infinity tub.
Yes.
You have an infinity pool off of your balcony. You have a private infinity pool off your balcony overlooking the water. If you've seen that picture, that's probably Grenada. That's probably the Sandals Resort.
Yes, yeah, the Sky Pool Suites there.
Yeah, and we went and toured. We didn't stay in one, but we toured it.
Yeah.
And I actually got a picture of me standing in that pool, and trust me, it's just as awesome as that picture looks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the views from it are incredible.
Yeah, having an infinity pool off of your balcony is unbelievable. Like I wish we could have stayed there. It was a little bit over our budget at the time. But.
We did stay in a very nice room, though. We were in, I know you don't know the room category name.
You remember it. Go for it.
We stayed in the oceanfront penthouse club level room. And I loved this room because it was like at the furthest part of the resort. So it was really quiet and very private. And that's one thing about us when we travel. We love for our room to be quiet. We don't want to hear anything that's going on outside. And so that was at the very corner end of the resort with a beautiful ocean view. You could see across the bay to the town of St. George, which is the capital, and the mountains. I really enjoyed that room.
Yeah, I remember it was really close to the water. We had a beautiful view off our balcony. We could see the bay. It was, I don't want to call it a bay, but you could see the mountains on the other side of the island.
Right.
And it was very close. Everything was very walkable.
Yes. I mean, the resort is hilly, but it's not as hilly as some others, but it is hilly.
Like Sandals Latak is.
Yeah, now that's hilly.
You're climbing mountains. I love it. That's we loved it. We honeymooned there.
Right.
But man, you better bring your walking boots.
Oh yeah.
But no, I agree. So Grenada, Spice Island, the resort is one of the newest, if not the newest in the Sandals chain, right?
No, not quite, but
it's
one of the newer ones.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, and so
Barbados is newer.
And I think when you compare everything, like if I compare that resort to all the resorts we've been to, when you compare the food quality, the lounge quality, the beach quality, the pool quality, the service, the whole nine, compare it all, that is probably tied for first, in my opinion.
Yeah. It definitely is.
If not our favorite place. I mean, if I could go on one last trip, it would probably be there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was amazing. And one thing that stands out to me, and actually I think to both of us, it stood out from that trip, was the food. It is the best food that I have had at any all-inclusive resort. I mean, I felt like I was just, at an everyday great restaurant here in Columbia.
Yeah, so they had a Butch's Steakhouse. Yeah. And I was very skeptical.
Which was the first steakhouse. So they used to not have steakhouses at the Sandals resorts, and then they opened this one there. It was the first one. And yeah, we're always skeptical because sometimes, I mean, just the quality of steaks, it's, when it's a filet, it's not like a filet that you get at a good place here.
Yeah, it's not a Ruth Chris filet. It's a really good filet. It's probably like the fillets you get at most all-inclusive resorts, I would say, it's probably comparable to like, it's a filet you'd probably get like at Chili's or something like that, or an Outback Steakhouse. Like, still really good,
right?
But not like steakhouse level quality, like New York style steakhouse. You're not going to get that. But Butch's is that quality.
Delivered.
I could not believe it. I mean,
yeah, it was so good.
I am we're both picky steak eaters. We love good food, love good wine. I was very skeptical when I said, okay, let me hang on. This is a New York style steakhouse here.
Right.
Let me be the judge of this. And I got to say, it delivered 110%. So you can eat there too. I mean, it's included in your package, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's all inclusive.
You can eat there every night if you want to.
Yeah, but it does require reservations, so you have to which I always tell people whenever you travel, because you can't make the reservations in advance when you go to the Sandals resorts, as soon as you arrive, immediately go to the culinary concierge and get your reservations. That way you can get what you want. You don't have to eat at like 9 p.m. or something like that. So, yeah, I know we ate there twice.
Yeah. And it's something we always recommend to do like on the last night. Like, this is a really good way to close the trip, like eat at the best restaurant. And, even if you can't get the reservation, you can always, like, still show up. Like, we used to do that, like, with hibachi places.
Yeah.
So there's a brand within the Sandals portfolio called Kimonos.
Yep.
It's a hibachi-style dining experience where they actually have, they have hibachi chefs from Asia that come in. And just like they have in the States here, you sit around a flat top and the grill, and they're cooking and stuff. And they do all the chimneys and the fire and all that song and dance. It's really fun. And but you got to have reservations. But even if you don't get a reservation, it's always good to kind of check in at the restaurant. Just say,
because maybe somebody didn't show up. I remember one time last year when we were in St. Lucia, I completely had the time wrong. But I mean, on vacation, so
yeah, we're on island time. Yeah. We call it island time.
Now back to the food though at Grenada. You said it was the best sushi that you've had at any all-inclusive resort.
Yes, they have the all-you-can-eat sushi place, Soy.
Yep.
That sushi, so again, I was skeptical of the quality of the sushi. that was the best sushi I've had in all-inclusive, and it was very comparable to any sushi place that you'd find in any downtown metropolitan area in the States. It was really, really good.
Yeah, I don't eat sushi, but I like to go for the spring rolls and edamame, and that was really good.
Yeah, and it's and I'm always very skeptical. It's like, how do you get sushi quality fish? You know, it sounds kind of like it would be easy to do, but I don't think it's that easy to do in the Caribbean to get that level of quality.
Right.
But like sashimi grade food. But anyways, it was really good. I was just overly impressed with the food in general. Like I really was. Like it blew me away.
And they have the coffee Cafe de Paris there.
Yeah, talk about that. So you're big into the Cafe de Paris coffee.
Well, yeah. Well, I love just having a little coffee shop at the resort that you can just go and get the Blue Mountain coffee, which is a Sandals staple, but it's from Jamaica. But they have it at all of their resorts. But you can go and get, lattes, cappuccinos, anything you want.
It's like a Starbucks.
Yeah, on property. And they have like pastry treats, and it's just nice. But they have one of those there. So
yeah, I always know before you go, after you have like a fun morning at the pool or a fun day at the pool, and you're about to either take a nap. If you don't want to nap before your night experience, go grab a coffee.
Yeah, and I have a story to tell.
Oh, do share.
I remember because you were so excited when we were there, and it was the first day of our trip. And George, when he gets in vacation mode, is just like full on.
When I'm work mode, I'm like 100%, 120% work mode. Like I'm serious, and I can flip the switch.
And then he flipped the switch to vacation mode, and then he had way too much fun at the swim up bar. And passed out at like 6 o'clock. We almost missed the Super Bowl because we were there during the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. But we did wake up. We did the Super Bowl, and they did it cool.
Yeah, I was like, "But come on, you've got to get up. You went a little too hard." I think I have a picture of him, his face just like planted in the bed, snoring.
You can delete that.
I really thought that we were going to miss the Super Bowl watch party, but yeah, they set up. We were there on Super Bowl Sunday, which is really cool. Never traveled for that before, but they set up a huge like projection screen on the beach, and they had like a watch party out there with a buffet,
and they had bar set up.
Yep, and then
all you can
beach
drink.
chairs, and it was right on the beach. It was awesome,
and they had a huge projector of the Super Bowl. It was like a 20-foot by 20-foot projector. It was awesome.
Yeah, I think that was the Patriots Falcons, right?
Yeah, Patriots Falcons.
Yeah, and the Falcons were winning, and then they blew it. Yeah,
blew the lead.
Yeah.
Atlanta, I feel bad for the state of Georgia because, like, between the University of Georgia in the national championship and the Falcons, man, they're just.
Yeah.
I was kind of pulling for the Falcons there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of impartial, and it's not the Panthers. I'm impartial.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I don't really
Some people
care.
hate the Patriots. Some people like a certain listen.
I'd like to see somebody else win.
If it's not the Panthers, though, I mean, I just want to see a good game. I want to see overtime. I'm usually cheering for overtime.
Yeah, he always cheers for overtime and everything.
But if my team's not in it, I just want this thing to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, so one thing about the island that I really liked is it's smaller. You have 100,000 people.
Yes.
So it's very small.
It's not touristy at all.
Yeah, it's not touristy at all. It's a longer flight for most. So just because it's further, it's not like they don't have as many flights as what you see in like Jamaica.
No, you have to connect through Miami.
Yeah. So you're really kind of getting away. The people there were great, and we were actually
very
there.
Friendly.
We were actually there during Grenada's Independence Day celebration.
Yep.
So they celebrate Independence Day in early February.
Yeah, I think it's February 7th.
Yeah, and so they, learning some of the history from some of the locals when we were there. You know, they were a French colony, right, and a British colony, I believe, and then got their independence in like the 50s. And then
I think they got their independence in the early 70s.
And then a communist party, during they were figuring out who's going to take over who's going to be the leader of the island. What they said is a communist, party came up to try to take control, and there was a lot of turmoil on the island over who's going to run, who's going to lead the people there. And Fidel Castro in Cuba saw that as an opportunity to try to overthrow the government, I guess, and take over the island. And he actually built an airstrip pretty much overnight, is what they said. I mean, they had a 10,000-foot airstrip. There were Cubans there working on this massive airstrip. And obviously, we have satellite images and stuff. I mean, when something like that pops up overnight on a small island, for the United States, it raises an eyebrow because we have a school there. We have actually a medical school.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had kids there in the medical school.
We have a medical school in Grenada with a lot of U.S. students, and it kind of raised a red flag. They've never seen such a big airstrip there. And they're like, wait a second, what's going on? And so, I guess through some intelligence, we found out that Cuba had essentially invaded the island. And so because we have kids there and because we were aware of what was going on as politically in the island, so we went in there and kind of helped clean up the, not clean up the mess, but kind of took control back over and gave it back.
And they rescued those students off the island.
Yeah, we rescued.
And this is in the early 80s, so this happened a very long time ago.
Yeah. And the 80s wasn't that long ago.
No, I know.
It's very interesting. But.
Right, yeah. But their tourism suffered greatly because of that.
Oh, of course,
And it really did not start getting ramped back up until that Sandals Resort opened there in December of 2013.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And it's a beautiful island. The people there were great. And they actually have a some sort of area where they've remembered the Marines there that went in and fought. Yeah,
right.
So a lot of them are very gracious towards America for helping them out in that stance. But I thought it was very interesting learning that and hearing that from the locals because when we travel, we always like to ask stuff. We like to get locals' opinions on things.
Yeah,
and that was one of the things that stuck out to me most about the island.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And another thing that stuck out to me from that vacation is I have never just felt like time stopped on a vacation. And it just, usually I feel like it just goes by too quickly. But that one, it felt like time stood still. And I've never felt so relaxed after a vacation.
Was it Saturday to Saturday we did? I know we did 7 nights.
Yes, Saturday to Saturday.
It felt like Saturday to the 3 Sundays from then. It felt like a month.
Right, yeah.
I remember just we didn't worry about anything. We didn't know what day it was. We never worried about what day it was.
I know.
We didn't have too much on the schedule. Sometimes we'll do a lot of tours or we'll schedule things whether it's golf or something like that. But this one we didn't have much. We had the reading road trip.
Yeah, I was going to say the only thing we did was the reading road trip. Which
is something we recommend doing. And if you've listened to our podcast before, you may have heard us talk about this. But what you can do to give back, and we love doing this when we travel, is you can take a couple hours or half a day out of your vacation, and the Sandals Foundation will take you to a local school, and you can read to the kids, and you kind of run the class.
Yeah.
You get a 2 hours to run a class, and usually they're between the ages of they're fourth graders, if I remember right. They're 8
no, in Grenada, we were at
it was a little bit older. Was it a high school?
No, they were first graders.
Oh yeah, they're real young. I remember. That's right. That's right. And it really makes you appreciate what we have in the States here because they don't.
It's a very humbling experience.
Yeah, I mean the islands there don't have what we have. The schools aren't funded like our schools are. And so
they don't have air conditioning in the school.
Yeah. And the kids don't know any different. That's the thing.
They don't.
Ignorance is really bliss because they don't know, and they were the happiest kids.
Yeah.
If that was in the States,
I know, I feel like a lot of kids here. I mean, we don't have kids, but I feel like a lot of kids here are spoiled.
Well, compare when you go to these islands and see the conditions. I mean, it's not that they're bad conditions; it's just way less than what we have.
Exactly.
And they,
and they don't know any different. So
they're playing. They're happy.
Yeah, it was the most humbling experience that I've ever had. And I remember when we left there, and all the kids just run up to you and give you a hug, and it brought tears to my eyes because I've just never seen kids just so happy to see, a random stranger.
Yeah, so. They love the attention, they say, because a lot of their, especially in the islands, a lot of their parents work in the tourism industry. And they work long hours, so they don't get as much attention as, maybe parents here in the States working 9 to 5. So when they get attention, they love it. And they it's really cool to see. Very good experience. It's very fulfilling. I think we get a lot of fulfillment out of it, and just we feel so much gratitude out of it.
And it's Thursdays on any of the islands that the Sandals resorts are. That Sandals Foundation has,
and they'll
that
take you
reading
there.
Road trip. Yes, and they you pay $25, and that's just to cover the transportation.
Yeah.
But they take you to the school
and bring you back, and the Sandals Foundation rep is with you the whole time. So they're not just dropping you off at a random school. It's not like that. It's all organized and
right.
Yeah, and we usually bring school supplies down. We'll donate some school supplies,
you can
donate
pack
money
for a purpose. Yep, and then you can bring school supplies and give it to the resort when you check in, and then it goes to the local schools.
Yeah, we very special to do. Listen, kind of a no before we go travel tip, but if it's something you think you want to do, we we highly recommend it. We can help set it up. We can help.
Yeah,
we can help
no,
set
absolutely.
it up on your
And
trip.
I mean, it really. I think you're back at the resort by noon, so it's quick. It's just a couple of hours, and just to do that and give back, I promise you will love it.
Yeah, and you'll have a little bit more of appreciation when you get back to the States about what we have.
Yeah.
It really, when you go to some of these islands and you travel, you go anywhere outside of the country very often, you see the difference in what we have here. And listen, no country's perfect,
right?
But we have it pretty good here, overall. Like I haven't found another country that I've been to, and we've been to a lot of them, that I'm like, wow, this is way better than the States,
Yeah.
It's just... I don't know, but we love Grenada. Anyways, let's get back to the resort here. So the resort, we did talk about the infinity pool balconies,
right.
which was sweet. I mean, it was really cool to see.
Yeah, they have a lot of butler suites at this resort. We didn't stay in the butler suites, but they have a lot of different butler suites here.
Yeah, I wish we did because we love it's so worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Hashtag worth it.
Oh, yeah.
If you're on the fence, if you're looking at a Sandals property, or I don't know, I think there's other properties that do, other brands that do butlers.
Yes.
But Sandals does it right, like when it comes to the butler. Like, if you're on the
yeah.
fence, ooh, baby, just do it.
It's fabulous. Yeah. But they have swim up butler suites there. They have the sky pool suites there.
And there's, before we move on, there's a common misconception about the butlers. I mean, I'm seeing this on the Facebook groups that people, like, I would never want a butler. Like, I think they think that the butler's like sitting in the room the whole time.
Yeah, no, they
That's
don't
not
do
how
that.
it works.
Yeah, no.
Like, explain how it works.
I think I've probably explained this before, but they have a cell phone, and then they'll give you a cell phone when you arrive, and anything you need, they are there to cater to that. So if you're down on the beach and you want a pizza and you don't want to go walk and go get a pizza, you call the butler and he goes and gets it for you.
Or a burger or a steak or anything you want.
I mean, yeah, anything you want. And then they escort you to dinner and
they make your reservations for you.
Make all your reservations for you. You may come back and you'll have a bubble bath set up in your room.
Yeah, like if you're out of the pool all day, your butler will pick up on that. And so, like, I remember that one day you and I were at the pool, and they had reserved chairs for us, so we had front row chair, beautiful setup. They put a cooler of drinks out there for us, and we're at the pool all day, and we get back to our room, and the bubble bath is on with rose petals and iced champagne.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, my God.
I know. I mean, that kind of service doesn't get any better, so.
Exactly, yeah. So, and then the one time we had the butler in St. Lucia, I forgot my shoes.
Yeah.
And I may have told this story too before, but I didn't have my shoes with me, and I really wanted to eat at the French restaurant. It was the only restaurant on property. This is at La Toc on our honeymoon. And I didn't have my shoes. I was so disappointed.
Travel tip, time out real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Men always take one pair of closed-toed shoes with you on vacation.
One pair.
One pair of closed-toed shoes, one pair of long pants.
No, before you go. And I had the long pants, check. Did not have the shoes. And the butler overheard us talking. You and I were like, he was like setting up our wet bar or something. He was doing something for us, and we're just sitting there chatting. And I was like, man, I can't believe I forgot my closed-toed shoes. We can't go to the French restaurant.
Yeah.
And then he didn't say anything. I remember the butler didn't say anything, and we all leave. And I guess he goes in there and looks at my shoe size. And he went, and what he did, he went and checked my shoe size out when I was gone. And he went and got me some shoes. Yeah. And he showed back up a few hours later, knocked on the door. It's your butler. And I said, oh, hey, how's it going? And he's like, yeah, Mr. Peniak, I overheard you saying that you were really disappointed you forgot your shoes and you can't go to the French restaurant. Well, I went and got you some shoes. I noticed what your shoe size was. Went and got you some shoes. And so, and I actually got you reservations as well. Yeah. And we were like, oh my gosh.
I mean, now that's
service. Next level.
Yeah, his name was Gilbert. He was fabulous.
Shout out Gilbert in St. Lucia. If anyone from Sandals is listening, Gilbert in St. Lucia is an absolute rock star.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
Can't give that guy enough shout outs.
Yeah, and he was still there in September. We saw him.
He was still there, so he's been at that same property for at least 7 years.
Yeah, because our first time there was 2012. So
yeah. So he's doing great. Yeah, request Gilbert. Know before you go.
Yeah,
if you're getting
awesome.
a butler in St. Lucia, request Gilbert. He's a good dude. And tell him George and Janet sent you.
I don't doubt he'll remember that, but
he might. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Anyway, so overall on this property, we think it's you're getting a lot of escapism in Grenada because there's not as many tours and stuff to do off the resort, right?
Right. I was gonna say, like I said before, we didn't really do anything when we were there. Whenever we stayed at the Sandals Resort there, but there are some great tours that you can take, and we did one whenever we stopped on the cruise there, and it went to the Lake Etang and then the Fort George, which was like an old fort from the 1700s that was built.
Oh yeah, that was cool. We did it on the cruise. That was cool.
Yeah, and Lake Etang is an extinct volcano, and it's like a lake that formed in the crater of it. And so we went and visited that, and then they took us to a black sand beach, and it was really cool. It's a beautiful island. I highly recommend it. As far as like what goes on at the resort, nightlife wise, overall, I think it's a pretty laid back resort.
Yep. It's not as upbeat. So if you're looking for big party mode, you're not going to find that there, which we don't. We want like a little more chill.
Yeah,
it was chill.
But you can go to the Tipsy Turtle Tavern or Tipsy Turtle Pub, whatever it's called. But it's the pub that they have there, and depending on the crowd at the resort, I mean, it can be really fun there at night. But otherwise, there's not a whole lot of nightlife. It's pretty quiet, but I love it. I mean, like I said, I've never felt so relaxed from a vacation than I have there.
Yeah, there was something about that island that was just chill.
It was so chill.
I mean, I just don't know how else to describe it. It was very, I guess, because like it's a 5-minute ride from the.
Oh, that's another great
5-minute ride from the airport.
It's right next to the airport, but because Grenada is so small, there's not that many flights that go in and out every day. I mean, it's literally, you could probably count them on one hand. So. And the airplane noise is very minimal.
Yeah, you don't hear anything, yeah.
No.
I mean, you can see them and you can maybe barely hear, but it's not, like, intrusive at all.
No, it's not. I only remember one day actually noticing, just being like, oh, there's a plane.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And see, people that would just look at it at face value and be like, oh, that's too close. I wouldn't want that. But you really can't hear it. You got to go and experience it.
And it's awesome because when you land, though, then you don't have a long ride to the resort.
Oh, I love that. So
because you'll have to connect through Miami to get there. Delta tried a seasonal flight last year, but I don't think they've done it again. So
really,
yeah,
okay.
So American through Miami.
Gotcha. And so if you guys, if any of our listeners are hearing this and are interested in a trip to Grenada or want to talk to us or one of our travel professionals about it, feel free to reach out to us. PayNetTravel.com. You can request a quote right there online, and it comes right to us. It comes right to me and Janet, so we
have a lot of personal pictures of this resort too, in different rooms,
and videos. Yeah,
videos, so we can share that.
And we have a blog post on our blog.
Yes.
I will repost it on our Facebook so everybody can see it. But it's a detailed blog post on the rooms, the food, the flow of the resort, activities, everything, and it's really informative.
Yes.
And, when we go to these places, we try to gather as much information as we can. We do that for our clients, because we want to deliver as much information as we can so they can make the best travel decision.
Oh, yeah. And I've had several clients read that blog post, and they booked Grenada because of it, just because you made it sound so awesome. I didn't write it.
Well, yeah, but it really just
no, it really is awesome. I mean, it's one of our favorites.
It explains, like, to a T how we feel about it, and I think... not to like toot our own horn, but when you've traveled so many places.
Yes.
I mean, we've already been, this year already, we've been to Jamaica, Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, and now we're going to the Dominican Republic next week. When you just see so much, you get a very good barometer on what good quality is.
Oh, yeah.
And what
that
to
was
expect.
Excellent quality.
And that is excellent quality. Grenada is excellent quality.
Yeah.
That resort is excellent quality.
Yeah.
Like it is.
No, absolutely.
The top of the top. And it's a little bit more, I think, it's a little bit more to get there. These flights are a little bit more expensive. The room stays probably a little bit more expensive, right?
Yeah,
a little
I'll talk
bit,
about
like
that
a higher end.
Real quick. Well, and I want to touch on this too. I highly recommend, if you're sensitive to heat, to go in the wintertime because it is one of the hottest places I've ever been.
It is, yeah, because it's southern. It's near the
very
equator.
Southern, yeah. So if you're sensitive to heat, go during the winter months when it's not as hot there. But like I have a group going there in September and for 6 nights and a beachfront club level room. I mean, it was right at $5,000 for the room, not including the airfare. Now
that's 7 nights.
6 nights.
6 nights. Okay.
Now speaking on the airfare, out of Charlotte, on average, it tends to run about $800 to $900 a ticket. But travel tip, and this is what we did when we went there, is for some reason to Grenada, and it has always been like this, it is cheaper out of Charleston,
South Carolina.
So if you're in South Carolina and if you're in the middle of the state, you know, or if you want to save a decent amount of money,
you can save like $700.
Yeah, we saved like $700 going out of. It was like $350 a ticket.
Yeah,
cheaper going out of Charleston.
Yeah, so know before you go travel tip too. So in how we found that is this is a huge tip if you're traveling anywhere and you don't want to use a travel agent, especially a great one like us. But what you can do though, no matter where you are in the world, I'm sure the world, I mean, really in the States too. I'm sure Google has this for everybody, but go to Google Flights.
Yep.
You can Google Flights and it'll pop right up, and you can actually search your dates.
Yes.
And your destination and where you're flying from. It pulls every airline. The cool thing about Google Flights, though, is you can search surrounding airports. So put in your local airport. Like, say you're living in...
Well, you can say, like us, so Columbia,
South Carolina. We're in the heart of the state. Right. And we have... And we're the biggest airport in the state. Because we're Columbia, we're the capital. There is an airport in Charleston, which is an hour and a half away. There's an airport in Greenville, which
I think Charleston's probably bigger than the Columbia airport.
It's probably close. I don't know. Anyways, regardless, we have one of the biggest airports, and you have Charleston, hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Greenville, hour and a half away. Charlotte, an hour away. Then you also have these smaller airports. Florence, about an hour away.
Right.
Augusta. So
and obviously, Charlotte is the biggest out of all of them, but
yeah. But my point is, everyone has probably a lot of airports around. There might not be major ones, but you can have small ones.
If you're flexible.
What Google will actually search them all for you on your date and find the best route, the cheapest route.
Yep.
And that's really cool. Like, if you're going to cut back on your vacation, cut back on the flight. Like, try to find a way to get there cheaper.
Oh, yeah,
Don't cut back on the
stay.
Room.
Right.
Don't cut back on the room. You can find a creative way to now, listen, it's really hard to find deals on airlines. Like, everyone thinks, like, you can get, like, travel agents get really good deals on airlines. Unless it's international, domestic travel, you really can't.
Yeah, no, not domestic.
Best way to do it is Google. Now international, you can, like, when you're flying over to Europe, you can get some incredible deals.
Yeah, I can't.
Travel agent only deals. Which, so if you're interested in Europe and you want a quote on a flight, we can probably put that together for you. But anyways, Google Flights is a great way to save some money on a trip.
And the great thing about Google Flights, too, is you can click track flights. And then, so if there's a change, it alerts you. And I use this. I mean, I go to Google Flights every single day and click that track button every single day for people who are waiting to book. Yeah, who are waiting to book flights. And then just wait and see if the price goes down because it'll alert you if it does. So
yeah, and you're good at telling people whether that flight, like if you quote something initially, whether that price is going to go down or not. Like we can't never guarantee it because the flights can do anything. But a lot of times you'll see it and be like, oh, that's a little high.
I can tell you if it's high.
Yeah, you're like the airline czar. You really are. You just know, like, it's crazy.
I know. When you look at it every single day of
you probably look at hundreds of flights a week.
Yeah.
You know.
So I can tell you if I think that price is high.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or, that's a good deal. You should buy that.
I'm telling you.
And there was
you're saving people money. It's just
I was going to say, there was an instance a couple of months ago, and I had great tickets to Europe for like $700, and I told this client to purchase them and that they were not going to last past that day.
They were $700 a piece.
Yeah, to Italy.
Wow.
And which, I mean, I've seen it to other places that good of a price, but not to Italy. So I was like, you need to buy these. She waited 3 days, and then they were over $1,000.
Oh, so, that stings.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, if they're that cheap, you just gotta hop on it.
Yeah. And I will tell you that. So.
Yeah, we will guide you and say, listen, this is a good deal. We'll try to save you as much money as possible.
Right. Absolutely.
And we're a zero fee agency, so we don't charge a penny more than what you'd pay online. So if you're ever thinking about booking a trip, give us a call. But I think that's a wrap there. I think we pretty much covered Grenada. We kind of went everywhere on this. This was a really good podcast.
Yeah, and one thing...
I told you it was going to be a good one.
No, I know. Well, and one other thing I want to just focus on was just say a little tidbit about is the news that came out yesterday of the Notre Dame Cathedral burning.
Yeah.
Or Notre Dame Cathedral
was
burning in Paris. That's
heart-wrenching to see.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I was so looking forward. We're going to Paris in September.
Yeah.
I was so looking forward to going and seeing it. And that's just awful news to hear. So
yeah, hopefully
prayers go out to Paris for that.
Yeah, and hopefully they can rebuild.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of hearts hurting because there's so much.
Well, and the pictures of it were just incredible. I mean, it wasn't just like when you...
It's like some out of a movie.
Yeah,
Like,
when
that
it said that
doesn't
it was
happen
on fire, and then I saw the pictures, I'm like, holy crap, it is fully engulfed in flames.
Yeah, it's not like a controlled fire. This thing is a months out of control.
Oh,
like,
gosh.
it's crazy.
It was bad.
Yeah, really hard to see. Anyways, yeah.
So hearts go out to Paris.
Hearts go out to Paris. Shout out Tiger Woods. It's just been a crazy week for the news.
Yeah.
We don't watch much news. We just have a news diet, unless it's good news.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's a wrap, guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We'd love to get our subscribers up. Appreciate everything you guys do. Even if you just listen to us, you're getting tips from it. We love all your ears. We appreciate all your listening. And that's a wrap, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.